Hey guys, this is Joshua, feature filmmaker and Fraser reviews of our top movies, TV, and music, giving you guys my thoughts on The Batman. This is going to be completely spoiler free, and if you do hear echoes in the background, I sincerely apologize for that. But this is the newest Batman reboot. It is co-written and directed by Matt Reeves, stars Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, John Turturro, Peter Sarsgaard, and Colin Farrell. And it follows the title character Batman as he is in his second year of fighting crime in Gotham City, that's viscerally corrupted by Falcone and criminals, and he has to take on the new masked Zodiac serial killer known as Riddler. Going into this movie, I was excited, but at the same time, I was a little bit burnt out on the Batman stuff. Because of all the characters I get in solo movies right now, it's pretty much anything Batman related. Don't get me wrong, I love Batman. I love the Keaton movies. I like the Nolan trilogy, and I love what we got with Ben Affleck. I don't really care too much for George Clooney or the 1966 Alan West movie. But for what we do get of Ben Affleck, I was hoping we would get more, but as we all know, during the production of the whole DCU thing, his Batman movie, he was fully ready to do it, but then problems with Joss Whedon and Justice League when that movie was going to reshoot stuff, and then all the whole constant things that was going on with that then we got this. So I wasn't against a new Batman movie. I was actually interested to see how this would turn out, and I went into this movie optimistic. I like Matt Reeves as a director. I like the cast of the movie, and Robert Pattinson has proven himself to be a very great actor, aside from Twilight, which no one hates Twilight more than him. And from the trailers, I was very intrigued. I did have some concerns going into the movie, of course, when it comes to its 3-hour runtime. And also, I was a little worried that I wouldn't enjoy this as much as some of the other Batman movies. And also, when I heard this was going to be more of a detective noir story, became very interested in seeing it. And having seen it, I can say that I loved the movie. I'm not gonna say this is my favorite Batman movie ever. I do think some of the hype does bring it down a little bit. I don't think it's the greatest Batman movie ever. I don't think it's one of the greatest comic books movies ever. It's definitely one of my favorites, but there are definitely some issues I feel like I need to address. But I did enjoy it. And the first biggest thing I can easily say I really liked about this Batman movie is Matt Reeves' direction and his passion. The passion that you see that Matt Reeves has for this character and for this movie is definitely on screen. Of course, during the production of this movie, there were a lot of things that were going on. Of course, they were filming this during the verge of the pandemic, and your main actor did catch the virus, but he made speedy recovery. But that was pretty much the only thing bad that really happened. I think because throughout this, you could tell that Warner Brothers just allowed Matt Reeves to have full creative control over him. This is 100% his movie, his vision of Batman. And rather than doing the origin story again, we're basically doing the whole Batman Year One and Long Halloween aspect of this. This is a very different style of Batman movie. It's more of a detective noir thriller meets horror meets David Fincher, Zodiac, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo stuff. But also it is pretty much very isolated type film, as this version of Bruce Wayne Batman. He's very isolated, he's very calm, he's very emo, but it's not the type of emo where it's boring. This is the kind of emo like, okay, you get it. There's been some trauma with him, and there's some things that we don't know much about. And here, you do get to see that. I was very impressed with what Matt Reeves chose to do as far as the writing style, as far as the direction style. The script, for the most part, I think is very well done. You get voiceover narration of Batman, what he's feeling inside his head, rather than just being a wall-to-wall action movie. It is more of like getting into the mind of Batman and his little crime noir scenario, and I very much appreciate the effort that Matt Reeves wanted to be more ambitious with that, and I think he very much succeeded in what he was trying to do, and I think it works very well for the most part, despite a few issues I do have with the movie. I can definitely tell Matt Reeves has understanding, have a great grip on the Batman, especially in interviews and telling us this is not your traditional Batman movie. This is a detective style like film, and while I can definitely say some people will not enjoy that, I was very happy to see a version of Batman that many fans, including me being a fan of Batman, got a chance to see. It's very different. You're getting to see Batman in as do detective work, and I very much enjoy that. Also, I definitely have to commend this movie for some great ambitions it tries to do. Like, they don't do the origin story again. You do find out stuff about Bruce's parents, which I won't spoil, of course, in case you have not seen the movie, and I don't want to spoil. You do get to know a lot more of how corrupt Gotham really is. You have the side of people that some people don't trust Batman, they think he's vigilante. Some people do trust him. And I very much appreciate a lot of the aspects that this movie was trying to go for. That's what makes it so different from other Batman movies. And on top of that, we gotta talk about the performances. Also, Robert Pattinson, he had a major task to work with, because not only Robert Pattinson is playing a title role in his first blockbuster, well, second blockbuster after Tenet, but he's playing the role of Batman. And as I said before, I'll say it again, you people really need to stop holding him accountable for Twilight, because it's not really his fault those movies were shit. But he's very good in the movie. I was very surprised the way that he has to play this character. This is a Bruce Wayne that is pretty much haunted and broken by his past, but he mostly internalizes it as a drive to achieve vengeance. But through this, as we know, first of a planned trilogy by Matt Reeves, he does grow at the end and realize that he has to become something more than just vengeance. But I very much loved the portrayal here, and I very much thought I like the fact that we get to see why Batman has always been seen as the greatest detective. You see the dynamic with him and Jim Gordon. I very much appreciate it, and it does become a key dynamic part of the movie that I very much liked, and we get to see all the things that he's dealt with in a different way. And we delve into all these inner struggles of Bruce Wayne that we are used to seeing, but in different interpretations. I also will say Zoe Kravitz does a very great job as Selena Kyle's Catwoman. She's very good here. I think she really gave a very strong performance. I wouldn't go as far as say she's my favorite Catwoman, but she would definitely be in the third place right next to Michelle Pfeiffer. Paul Dano is very good here as Riddler. Edward Nashton is not Edward Nigma. They do have some some of the comedic stuff with Riddler, but is mainly a more darker and serious version of Riddler. He's very motivated, very much one of the best Batman villain portrayals we've ever seen, and he's very intimidating. He's very scary, very frightening, and very horrifying. And some of the kills that he does in this movie definitely almost gets this movie from is very hard PG-13 to a very highly rated R. So I definitely very much appreciate how far they went with the PG-13 and knowing when to cut back. But this is a very strong PG-13, so this definitely ain't for the kids unless they can handle it. But Paul Dano was really good. I've always liked him as an actor. Colin Farrell is also very great with his physical transformation as the Penguin. And while he's not in the movie that much, I will say he does a very good job. I am interested to see what they do with him in his HBO Max series. He's very indistinguishable from anything we've ever seen. He's even just the makeup effects on him is very impressive. I love the makeup effects on him. Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, John Turturro, and Peter Sarsgaard is Alfred, of course, Gordon, and of course, definitely Carmine Falcone. They all are really great here. There's some interesting things they do with them. And you get to see Gotham City, the way it looks from the production design to technical standpoints. It's not just about being dark and gritty. It has a clear understanding of the comics and does something fresh with it. It's really intense, and it shows how far Gotham is very corrupt. So the production design and the costume design is top notch. Michael Giacchino's score, I wouldn't say it's my favorite score, but I definitely love the Batman theme. It is a very masterful and haunting score, and I very much appreciate the fact that they went that way. Michael Giacchino is an underrated composer, and I think it's high time he got his due with a lot of projects he does. His masterful work is no exception here. I also very much loved cinematography by Greg Fraser. He did some great camera work with Rogue One and some fantastic work on Dune, which he's getting Oscar love for, and his style and his visual aesthetics here are very good. It's not a colorful film. He does keep that same color palette he used in Dune, but they shot the movie on digital, then converted it to film, and then converted to digital, and the work they put there is absolutely great. I loved what they did there. But there's the action, and while some people are gonna go to this for the Batman action, there is some very crazy action set pieces that leaves you tense, that leaves you exhilarated, that leaves you excited, and you get to see him go after criminals as usual. But I was also very interested in trying to see, wanting to show the mystery side of things, the dynamic with him, why Gotham sees him as a vigilante, why he is almost, Bruce is almost doesn't really care at this point that he's driving himself to insanity with the Batman persona every night. And I thought it was very genius to go that route. Not many directors are willing to go that route when it comes to this character, but I thought it was actually well classic. It wasn't distracting. I thought it was very subtle in the way that it chose to do it. So, in a lot of ways, I give you huge respect for that. But also having huge respect, so stay true to everything Batman related and still be a very well done movie. And honestly, I'm gonna say it, the second act and the third act, and the first act, this entire structure, each of the three acts has a lot of things I really like into it. And just, I can't really say anything about spoiling, but I was very happy with a lot of things they wanted to go for here. Do I wish we could have gotten Ben Affleck's movie to see what that would have been like? Yes, but sometimes shit happens. But I definitely appreciated what Matt Reeves was going for with so far his first outing with Robert Pattinson, because this is meant to be a trilogy. And I appreciate a lot of the effort and most of the ambition, and almost the entire ambition of this movie, as far as certain decisions are made here with Carmine Falcone, Catwoman, and of course Batman, and also with the Riddler and the Penguin. So I very much enjoyed that. As I said, this is not my personal favorite Batman movie. I do have a couple issues that does stop this from being higher in my ranking. One of them, the movie is 175 minutes too long. I don't really complain that much about long movies. I'm someone who likes sitting through longer movies, and I love my shorter movies. But sometimes you gotta trim the fat, and I feel like the first half of this movie, while it was a great, interesting setup, I did find it to be quite boring. And like I said, it's great character stuff. I love me some character studies and some character development. But there is a version of this where you could have got to the point and gotten to things more faster and just gotten to things a little bit more quicker. And the third act, while I very much love the third act of this movie, I will say the third act, and there is a certain point where you think it's gonna end, and it got to a point where it was like, okay, can we can just wrap it up. You're going on for too long. And while I did enjoy the Penguin, I will say this, I was very disappointed in the screen time they gave him. Colin Farrell is a great actor, and he does make every minute of his screen time count. He's very good to watch, especially in that car chase that we just all saw in the trailer, which was, as I said in the pauses, this movie is not afraid to get pretty dirty with its PG-13 rating. Considering the fact that we have so many movies with PG-13 and you are not willing to go the extra mile, this went the extra mile and almost got it gets pretty violent in points, even to the point where it's disturbing. There is moments in this movie where, especially with Riddler, where it feels like Seven, it feels like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and it feels like you're rewatching a Trap Out of Saw movies. I was like, wow, I actually can't believe Matt Reeves got away with it. So Double Toasted, they're not screwing around when they say this is not only the most darkest Batman, but this is also the most disturbing Batman movie you will ever see. But going back to my negatives, while I did enjoy the Penguin, I wanted a little bit more from him, and I think they could have trimmed some works of stuff around and give the best of both worlds. So I won't really attack the filmmakers for that. I did wish Peter Sarsgaard and a few here, because everyone does a really good job here. I just feel like there's some actors I wanted a little bit more of, especially I wanted a little bit more of Andy Serkis, because he's not in the movie as much. And I know it's mostly due to the fact that he was doing Venom Let There Be Carnage, but I still wish there was a way we could have a little bit more of him, just a little bit more of him, because it's Andy Serkis. You can't really underuse a talent like that. And the last thing I do need to address right now, because I am seeing this on the internet as with other movies, especially with Batman. This is not going to be a movie for everyone. This movie does require a lot of things. It does require the length for the most part, even though it's unnecessarily long in some parts. And while I wasn't bored, I just feel like you could trim a few things to make it flesh out more. It does require you to accept a more detective noir version of Batman. And this movie definitely does require how you like your Batman movies. So know who you are going into this. Overall, the Batman was definitely lived up to the hype that it's been building around since its announcement after Ben Affleck's Batman movie got taken from us. It is a very ambitious, very detective noir style like crime superhero film that takes chances, has great performances in its cast. It's a very well directed film, it's a very well acted film, and it is a very well directed and well stylized film as far as cinematography, music goes. Despite it being a little bit too long, and despite it being having a few issues with the underusage of Penguin and Alfred, and some people won't really enjoy this, I can definitely say that this is definitely, if not my favorite movie of 2022, because you're gonna have to get back to me in May, October, or November to find out what that is gonna be. I can definitely say this is definitely one of my favorites of the year, but it is also another way to continue the superhero craze in 2022. So with that being said, I will definitely give the Batman, I'm gonna give it an Epictastic, only because I feel like some people will not like this as much as others. But don't start a full war about this. It's only a movie. So in the comment section down below, what did you guys think of the Batman? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? Please keep it spoiler free. I thank you guys for your patience as you see my channel update with what's going on with me. There will be more videos coming. I sincerely apologize. I will do a catch-up 2022 roundup edition. All my social media links down below. Join Epictasticness. Keep it cool and stay epitastic.